So today's report is of LSD, ketamine and cannabis at a dose of over 25 hits straight from the vial of LSD, which also contained ketamine. Cannabis was smoked once not long after the other substances were ingested, and again a little while later in the report. I found it on Erowid by a user called Joe. It's a pretty weird one, but still makes for a great read nonetheless. They've classed it as a difficult experience as it does get really intense, but at least in my opinion maybe not quite as mad as you'd expect from the really high dose they've claimed it was, and of a combination that's known for being incredibly intense. Do let me know if you have any thoughts in the comments afterwards. I'd love to know what you thought about this one in particular, but for now, we'll get into it. My friend came down to my house and we both took about 25 hits off a vial of LSD 25 he had purchased. I noticed no effects in an hour and told him it must be diluted or something. He told me he had put a $20 bag of ketamine into it in a K stupor. I've had bad luck with ketamine in the past and I didn't think it was a good idea. We split the rest of the vial anyways. About 10 minutes after we had done this, the first effects hit me. I noticed it was slightly difficult to walk. Colours intensified. We had to find some weed and fast. We visited my friend Tyler while questing for some weed on the street. He just happened to have a joint of purple nuggets. I'm pretty sure it was super skunk. We smoked it and immediately afterwards I got the sickening K head rush that I hate so much. At this point I remember all the LSD hitting me as well. The walls decided to start changing colours that didn't exist to the normal human eye. The walls were breathing phosphorescent. I was curled in a ball, scared out of my mind. This is because the intensity of the combination was incredible. I've never experienced anything so intense. I felt like my body was made of rusty metal. We decided to go for a walk. It took me and my friend 2.5 hours to walk 5 blocks. Everything around me was moving at a normal pace, but in frame vision. Inside of my bubble, everything was moving slow, really slow. The trails were incredible. They would stay even after I closed my eyes, and as they faded, they changed colours. We eventually purchased 7 nicks of swag from some guy on the street. My friend assured me that the K head rush would not come again, and I calmed down. We sat in a house smoking until our stomachs started to hurt. My friend called it gut rot. He said it came from consuming hard chemicals on an empty stomach. We walked to our 24-hour local pantry and purchased some bread. I wasn't in the mood for eating, but after I did, the stomach pain went away. We ran into some old friends while sitting there and purchased 5 $20 bags. Quick side note, I'm pretty sure he means cannabis when he says the $20 bags just there. Because he cites later, he says that night when we smoked. So I'm assuming this is what they smoked. Yeah, anyway. We returned to the house and I did about a quarter of it, and my friend who had a higher tolerance did the other 3/4. At 6 in the morning I went unconscious and had some weird ass dream about singing trees and flowers, but when I came close to them they would decay. For the rest of this day I noticed things were so bright that it was hard to focus on anything but a big hazy mix of colours. The ground had waves in it that would move with my vision and distort colours. The experience is hard to describe. At 8 that night, my friend purchased 5 hits of Silver Sense acid and took it. I refused to take any more. He is on Wellbutrin, I'm not sure how you say that, and has a high tolerance from the acid because of it. That night when we smoked, the walls were vibrating and turned into a strange pattern. The pattern looked like a snake. It lasted for about 15 minutes. The snake opened its eyes and turned into some sort of dragon with the same skin as the wallpaper. It was moving around the room. I tried to capture it, but I failed, and my friends laughed at me. At the time, it seemed very important that I had possession of this dragon. The next day, I felt tired as hell. Everything was still bright, but it came into focus. The flowers seemed very large. The houses all had faces of monsters and seemed to be swaying from side to side. I think they were laughing at me. The last thing I remember of this trip was that when we were sitting in the park, I looked up at the sky and saw the sun turn into some sort of quasar/supernova of millions of greens, oranges, yellows, blues and purples.